What do you know about the Tigers, and what's the big key to stopping them?
Oh, well, they play a 3-2 defense. Defensive ends outside, which that's kind of an old defense. People don't run that much anymore. When I originally designed my offense, that's what I designed it for, was that type of defense. So it's nothing new to us. We just have to execute and block.
All right, Brent Baker with Coach Nelson Campbell just a few moments ago. We're joined again this week by Randy Savage Jr. Randy, one of the gurus of six-man football, has the website Six Man Weekly. And Randy, certainly you've been following this, following six-man all season long, and we're at the pinnacle of six-man football right now. So what do we say coming into this ball game?
Groom comes in, just solid defense. Everybody knows that they have had 54-point teams and 55-point averaging teams that have scored 18 points on 20 points on them. Gordon's got the high-powered offense. We're looking for him to try to run the boards up.
Okay, we'll be following that, and we'll talk more with you as we go along in the ball game. But we're ready to get started, and the Gordon Longhorns have kicked away to Groom on the opening kickoff of the six-man state championship. Randy, thank you for joining us. Tony, let's get geared up here. Brent is down on the field as he was last week, and certainly that's a nice addition to what we're able to have here. And the Groom Tigers have returned the ball out to the 19-yard line where they will start 1st and 10 right there.
First play of the game is going to be a Groom right tackle. He's going to about 3-4 yards. Nice defensive skin by the Gordon Longhorns. Again, number 8, Lyle Campbell on the stop. You expect a lot of tight formation from Groom tonight. According to Nelson Campbell, they run a very tight formation, a lot of power running. Don't spread the ball out a lot.
Well, of course, the Longhorns have gotten here with some impressive wins. The one you heard last week, right here on the Radio Ranch, 73-38 over the Richland Springs Coyotes. Here we go, 2nd and 13 for Groom. Pitch off the left side. And upended very, very quickly for the Tigers was Garrett Britton. That's going to bring up 3rd and long for Groom as they're going to be faced with 3rd and call it about 14.
That was a nice play by Gordon that time. It's a loss of about 1.5 yards on that play. They sniffed that out real well. It's going to set up Groom in a position that they don't like to be in, 3rd and long.
Sweetwater, Texas, the Mustang Bowl in the six-man state championship. 3rd and 14 for the Tigers. Quarterback rolling back, wants to throw the ball. Does. It's completed, but tackled very, very quickly is the receiver for the Tigers, and that's going to bring up a 4th down, and the Tigers are going to have to punt the ball away.
Interesting formation that time. If he'd had a chance to look downfield, he had 2 receivers running seam patterns and only 1 Gordon defender back there, but he was under a little bit of rush. He had to get the ball off, and so he got the ball off quickly, but not enough for the 1st down.
Tigers punt the ball away, and back to receive it is Chance Kite for Gordon, but he won't get that opportunity as the ball bounces at the Gordon 31-yard line and eventually goes down to the 23.
Well, for Gordon, it's a good start to the game. Good play by the defense early on. They did a good job of staying home and playing their assignments. Both teams maybe a little bit tentative early on, trying to feel each other out, as we often see in these championship games.
So the Gordon Longhorns will get it for the first time tonight. 1st and 15 from their own 23-yard line. Lyle Campbell, of course, the quarterback for the Longhorns, pitches back to Chance Kite. Kite is hit hard on the first play from scrimmage.
That's big number 44, Dusty Crump. For Groom, very big, about 6'2", about 240 pounds. Reportedly runs around a 4.6 40, very fast. Probably their best athlete. He's also an all-state last year for Groom. So you're going to see his name called a bunch tonight.
Guys, can you hear me up there?
We got you, not now.
All right. Here we go. Talking about Dusty Crump. You're talking about a big body, much bigger than your average six-man player. And you're right, Tony, you're going to hear his name a bunch tonight.
2nd and about 18 for the Longhorns. Snap goes back, and now Campbell has the option to run or throw the football. He runs with it. He's hit hard as he gets out beyond the 30-yard line, brought down at the 32. And it's going to bring up 3rd and close to 10 yards for the Longhorns as Campbell Campbell got it as the option back, looked downfield, didn't like what he saw, and then just made his way down the field for a pickup of about 10 yards.
And it's obvious to the Groom Tigers right now, they've got to shut down Lyle Campbell. No team has been able to really shut him down so far this year. It doesn't matter what you do. If you spread it out, he'll throw it. If you get inside, he'll run it. Let's see what he does on this play.
Third down and call it about 8 for the Longhorns. Back to Campbell has it now. Campbell wants to throw the ball, has the receiver wide open and overthrows him at the 15-yard line. On the far sideline was Cody Scott, and Campbell with just simply too much arm in that ball, and it falls incomplete, and now it appears the Longhorns are going to have to punt it away as they face 4th and about 8 from their 32-yard line.
Yeah, Campbell under a little bit of pressure that time, didn't really have a chance to set up, and so he kind of rushed his throw, but it shows you what kind of arm strength that he overthrew that receiver by a good 3 to 5 yards.
Campbell goes back into a punting formation now and gets away an end-over-end kick that's going to bounce at about the 12-yard line and die, it would appear, at about the 10-yard line, and the Longhorns may have come up with it. One of the short backs for Groom actually touched the ball, but they did end up falling on it, and so the Tigers will take over inside the 10 at about the 9-yard line. I think he got a bit confused there and touched the ball, thinking it might have been a kickoff, perhaps. He touched it. Then when he did, one of the Longhorns then dove for the ball. But fortunately for the Tigers, their deep back was able to come up with the recovery. So what would have been disaster is averted by the Tigers, and they'll have 1st and 15 inside their 10 at the 9-yard line. No score here. The Mustang Bowl, the 6-man state championship between the Groom Tigers and the Gordon Longhorns. Handoff left side there, gets about 3 for the Tigers. 6 minutes, 13 seconds to go in this first quarter.
That's a great play by Danny Greeny, the big number 9 in the middle. He came up behind the running back, grabbed him around the waist, and just pulled him down. Good tackling so far by the Gordon Longhorns.
Ball is marked just outside the 12-yard line. Tight formation for the Tigers. We know that's what they like to run. Here's a little screen pass out into the left flat. Dwayne Gray has it. Has a bit of yardage, but he's ushered out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. Fred Parsons giving him the escort off the field. He'll pick up some nice yardage, but still it's going to be 3rd and a bunch, 3rd and about 8 for the Tigers. No first down as yet for either team here early in the ball game.
Yeah, it's like a heavyweight boxing match. Each team is feeling each other out, but you got to feel pretty soon somebody's going to go for the knockout blow, going to go for the big play.
The T formation for the Tigers. Deep eye there. Quarterback wants to throw the ball under a heavy rush. Dumps it across the middle. It's caught, and enough for the first down as he completes the pass there to Evan Kroll. Kroll just barely gets beyond the 25-yard line. That's exactly where he needed for the first down, and a nice job there for the Tiger quarterback under heavy pressure to get that pass away, Tony.
He was being hit as he was thrown by, I believe, again, it was Danny Greeny at the end formation. He did a good job of just getting that ball off, but he picked up the necessary yards for the first down.
Our first down of the ball game, and it comes by way of the Groom Tigers, as they have some yardage up to the 34-yard line. Finally tackled by Lyle Campbell, and that is, I believe, Wade Ritter. Ritter rumbling up to the 33-yard line where they actually mark it. That's a pickup of about 8 yards, so it will bring us 2nd and a long 7.
Wade Ritter, their leading rusher this year, 1,500 yards on the season, has been their go-to back all year long.
Here's the snap. Pitch back again, and this time no go there. I believe that's Ritter. No, this time for the Tigers, it's going to be Garrett Britton. Britton gets the pitch deep in his own backfield and just barely does manage to get back to the line of scrimmage, so it will still be 3rd and 7 for the Tigers.
Guys, I'm standing here at about the 22-yard line, and I feel like I'm watching an 11-man game right now. They're tearing up the middle of the field. You don't have the long yardage theatrics that you usually have in a 6-man game. Great defensive battle so far, and the guys in the trenches are really doing their job.
Well, the Tigers come into this ball game with one of the top-ranked defenses in the state of Texas in 6-man football. Quarterback rolling out to his right, looking downfield, has a receiver, overthrows his intended receiver, And that was Weinheimer trying to get the ball, I believe, to Wade Ritter. Ritter coming out of the backfield. He was all wide open by himself, Tony, at the Gordon 35-yard line, and Weinheimer just overthrew it.
Gordon took the fake and went with the running back in the backfield. It was a bootleg. He actually had two choices. The safety stayed with the deep receiver, but that left Ritter uncovered, but it was just a simple overthrow that prevented them from converting their second first down in the game.
Well, the Tigers are in a punt formation, and they are going to punt. They're not going to punt. No, they're going to go for it on fourth down. Punter on the right side is going to be stopped short. Stopped short as he had the option. The ball was snapped to the short back, and that was Chris Ollinger who took it around the right side. He had the option to punt the ball or run with it. I'm sure it was his option to make the decision at the last moment. Ollinger elected to try the right side. He needed to negotiate about 7 yards. He picked up 3, and so the ball will go over on downs to the Longhorns, and now they get it with decent field position. In fact, good field position at the 37-yard line of the Groom Tigers. Now they go into the spread formation. 1st and 15 for Gordon. To Kite, to Campbell. Campbell back. 2 men on top of him. Breaks through that. Now dumps it off to Kite and overthrows it.
Oh, that had big play written all over it. He instructed the two defenders to come up. Kite immediately released. He had sent 3 receivers deep, so they had run off the secondary. There was nobody within 15 yards of Chance Kite. He had a lot of room to run. Just simply missed him on the throw, overthrew him.
That was the play we saw go for a long touchdown last week. That very similar play there when Campbell completes the pass to Chance Kite, but it doesn't work there. 2nd and 15, ball still at the Groom 37-yard line. To Kite, to Campbell. Now Campbell's running with it, has yardage down the right side. At the 25, at the 20, has the first down. Is sandwiched hard there as he gets to the 19-yard line. That will be the first down for the Gordon Longhorns in this ball game as they move the sticks and officially mark it at the 19 with 4 minutes and 1 second to go in this first period. No score as yet.
Guys, what Lyle Campbell's doing right now is really living out his time as a spread back. When the team gets spread out across the field, he has so many options. He can throw the ball, he can run up the middle. He chose to run that time, and he really can fake out a defense when he's coming down this sideline.
19-yard line, 1st and 15 to Johnson, to Kite. Now Kite keeps it up the middle. He's got the 15, the 10, hit hard, goes down at the 7-yard line. Down at the 7, Brent, that was right in front of you, and it would appear they are really knocking each other around out there on the field right now.
That was a nice little fake there to Lyle Campbell. They took the fake, and Kite just kept the ball and ran it up the gut for about 8 yards, and then he was swarmed on at the 8-yard line after a 10-yard pickup. He was hit hard. There appears to be a lot of hard hitting going on down there tonight, and that's what Coach Nelson Campbell told us to expect tonight.
Ball is marked at the 9-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and about 4, just inside the 5. They could notch the first down. Ball snapped back to Kite. Kite gets it back to Campbell. He tries to dump it off to Kite, who was held at the 10-yard line. Kite was trying to get out in the formation, and there's flags all over the place.
The flag is going to be on Chris Ollinger, who was spread out for the Groom Tigers. He ran into Chance Kite and impeded his progress, and it's going to be a defensive interference call.
That's a holding call. Going to give them an automatic first down. More importantly, you need the yardage at this point because they're inside the 10-yard line. Probably be half the distance to the goal, but a little bit of a dangerous pass. He was well covered, but he simply had a hold of his jersey, and they threw the flag immediately.
They're going to mark the ball inside the 5 at about the 4-yard line, and as Brent says, the Longhorns will have a new set of downs. 1st and goal to go from the 4-yard line as Kite was obviously held as he tried to get beyond the line of scrimmage. 2 minutes, 45 seconds to go. No score as yet, but the Longhorns threatening. Bo Johnson comes in at quarterback, tight formation. Campbell the single setback. To Johnson, handoff to Lyle Campbell. He's hit it behind the line of scrimmage and falls forward. And maybe, well, they're going to mark him at the 2-yard line. He didn't get in. He was hit at the line of scrimmage and then fell forward for a couple of yards. So it's going to be 2nd and goal to go now from the 2-yard line as Coach Nelson Campbell shuttles in plays. has all of his crew at full strength this week. Dustin Wells had to miss the ball game last week against Richland Springs with a sore ankle, but he's back in there tonight. Second and goal to go for the Longhorns. Handoff, Lyle Campbell hit hard. He will not get in, as everybody is keying on Campbell. Initially with the first hit was Chris Ollinger, and this time Campbell will lose 3 yards.
Dusty Crump, big number 44, came through again, a wide body. And this is exactly where they're going to be able to use him the best on defense for Groom. He can come in and stop somebody, especially Lyle Campbell. Campbell's a hard runner, but Crump has him outweighed probably by 40 pounds, but he stopped him dead in his tracks.
Crump goes off the field right now, and rotating in for Crump is Wade Ritter. It's going to be third and goal to go now from the 3-yard line. Bo Johnson inside at quarterback. Pitches back to Campbell. Campbell with the option to throw or run. He'll run with it. He gets in on the left side. A name very familiar to Gordon Longhorn fans. Lyle Campbell takes it in from 3 yards out. Longhorns went to the tight formation that time with Johnson at quarterback, took the snap, pitched it back to Campbell. Campbell had the option then at that point to throw the ball or run with it. Tony, a bit of indecision, but finally he elected to run with the ball, and it was the right decision, as the Longhorns will try to kick the extra points here. The kick is up, and he's hooked it to the left. So with 1:17 to go in the first quarter, the Gordon Longhorns are on the board first in this 6-man state championship game. And welcome back, everyone, to the Mustang Bowl. It's Gordon 6, Groom nothing after a 37-yard touchdown drive by the Longhorns. And we're only 1:07 away from the end of the first quarter, and who would have ever thought it'd only be 6-0. First and 15 for Groom. They're going to start at their own 30-yard line. Handoff off the right side and now down the sideline. And finally tackled at about the Gordon 38-yard line was Wade Ritter. Tony, there was one man to beat, and fortunately for the Longhorns, it was Lyle Campbell.
And that's a very difficult man to beat, but you're right. He had the right sideline, good blocking up front, and he was one tackle away from taking extra distance. But in the open field, you're going to be very hard to get past Lyle Campbell.
Second and about 4, call it a pickup of 11 for Groom. I formation there at the Gordon 39-yard line. Handoff up the middle, and barreling over a couple of tacklers is big Dusty Crump. He'll have another first down for Groom. And if there was any decision as to whether or not Groom would roll over and play dead for the Longhorns, they're marching it back down the field as they've got another first down. First and 15 at the Gordon 34-yard line.
Lynn, I was watching the team warm up earlier. Groom and Weinheimer doesn't have the best arm, and you're going to see them running the ball as much as they possibly can right now. Here we go.
First and 15. Weinheimer with split backs in the formation behind him. Hands off the right side again to Ritter. Ritter has some yardage as he tries to turn the corner at the 30. Gets down to the 27-yard line. 31 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Keeping in mind, of course, that the Tigers right now are going into a very stiff breeze here at the Mustang Bowl. Even though we are in a physical bowl here, the wind has been whipping out of the north quite violently at about 25 miles an hour or so. And the Tigers have been going into this wind, and as Brent mentions, Weinheimer not with his strongest arm, so he would have difficulty throwing into this wind. He'll throw it this time, though. He looks across the field, has a receiver, and overthrows one receiver and underthrows another as time has expired here in the first quarter. It will bring up third and about 8 for the Tigers, and at the end of one, the Gordon Longhorns lead the Groom Tigers in the 6-man state championship 6-0. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. Lynn Bearden, Tony Bearden, Brent Banker, and the entire crew here at the Mustang Bowl in Sweetwater, Texas. Third down and about 8 yards for the Tigers. They're inside Longhorn territory as we start the second quarter. Weinheimer wants to throw the ball. This time he'll do it with the wind at his back. Goes in the far corner, and the ball is almost picked off and almost caught. Lyle Campbell went for the interception at the goal line off the edge of his fingertips, and it almost fell into the hands of the Tiger receiver, and that was almost disaster.
Lynn, I'm standing about 10 feet from where that happened. And I tell you what, it's amazing that Lyle Campbell even got his hands on that thing. He jumped way up in the air to snap that ball down. Couldn't quite come up with it, but his athleticism has really taken over right now.
That's going to bring up fourth down for the Tigers. Tony, it would appear that they are in four-down territory at the Longhorn 27-yard line.
Most definitely, they're going to go for it here on fourth down.
Weinheimer with the draw up the middle, and with yardage and with the first down is Ollinger. He's finally tackled inside the Gordon 15-yard line. What a nice call there from Coach Larry Reed. Nice call to draw up the middle as the Longhorns were looking for Weinheimer to throw the ball. And he went back, and it was just a classic draw play. And it worked well. First and 15 now from the Gordon 15-yard line as they move the sticks away, and it would not be possible, as they're just inside the 15, it would not be possible for the Tigers to get the first. Here's a handoff on the left side, and Wade Ritter is smothered.
That's number 42, Fred Parsons for Gordon. That's the second time tonight he's been in the backfield. He's been doing a lot tonight. He missed the play earlier on the first down run. He had a chance. That time he didn't make a mistake, and he threw him for a 5-yard loss.
Guys, that's going to be in the blooper reel for the Groom Tigers. It was his own lineman, Weinheimer's own lineman, that knocked him back because Cody Scott of Gordon got through there like a blaze of glory, knocked him flat on his back.
Second and a bunch, second and goal to go from the Gordon 19-yard line. Weinheimer looking in the end zone, has a receiver. It's caught, but it's caught behind the end zone. Out of the end zone. Lyle Campbell on the coverage back there. And the pass was completed to Evan Kroll, but it was out of the back of the end zone by about a step. And that will bring up third and goal to go from the 19-yard line.
It didn't look like Lyle Campbell ever even saw that ball. He was running trying to catch up with his back to it. But the receiver for Groom just ran out of real estate, made a nice catch, but he was definitely out the back of the end line.
The Tigers in black pants, red jerseys, and black helmets find themselves with a big third down here. Quarterback under pressure, drops it off again to Ritter. Ritter has some blockers in front of him, falls down at the 6-yard line, then loses the ball, but they're going to say that he was down. Actually, that was Ollinger on the carry. Ritter was the lead blocker in front of him. Ollinger had the touchdown and fell down.
I got to tell you, Lynn, I just saw one of the best hits of the day so far. Wade Ritter of the Groom Tigers laid in to somebody for Gordon, knocked him on his back, and that's what broke away the run on the left side. Great hit.
I saw that too, Brett. It was an outstanding block, but it's a repeat of the Panther Creek game where the back just stumbles and falls down for a sure touchdown.
Fourth and goal to go from the 6-yard line. Quarterback rolling, looking in the end zone, touchdown! Pass is completed to Evan Kroll as Weinheimer rolled out to the near side, and Kroll was all by himself in the right corner of the end zone, and the Groom Tigers have evened the score with 8 minutes and 4 seconds in this first half. Here's the attempt for the points after. The kick is up. It looks good. And no, he's missed it to the right. He's missed it to the right. Dusty Crump pushes it to the right, and our score will remain tied. 8 minutes, 4 seconds to go in this second period. There's an onside kick from the Tigers, and it's taken by the Longhorns, and they advance it up to their 40-yard line, right at the 39-yard line. 7 minutes, 59 seconds to go. 6-6 our score after the scoring drive from the Groom Tigers.
That's the second time we've had what I would consider a miscue by the kicking team for Groom. The first time on the fake punt, or it looked like attempted fake punt, where they were thrown and gave Gordon excellent field position. This time, I don't know if it was a squib kick that he just didn't get anything on, or if it was an attempted onside kick. But it gives them first down at midfield at the 40-yard line.
Ball marked just inside the 40 stripe on the Gordon side of the field. Campbell, actually Johnson at quarterback, pitches it back to Campbell. Campbell with the option is going to go down. Tries to move in between two men very quickly, as we saw him do so many times last week against Richland Springs, but he can't do it there, and he'll lose 6 yards.
Well, one thing about that play, Lyle Campbell usually does a great job of getting between those two defensive rushers. Couldn't quite do it that time because they're both coming from the same side. He really couldn't split them. And by the way, on that last play, that touchdown play, I got pretty close to the huddle here on the sideline. Nelson Campbell was chewing some people out. I saw him pull across one defensive backman, one secondary man, and he was laying into him. Apparently, Nelson Campbell has somebody pretty ticked off right now.
second and about 21 for the Longhorns as they go into the spread formation. And now Campbell has the ball after Johnson comes in tight at quarterback. Campbell stays on his feet, but he'll go down this time. He loses yards again as these Groom Tigers are pumped up defensively. We knew they had a strong defense coming into the ball game, and they're showing it now. Lyle Campbell loses more yardage, and now the Longhorns have it back at their 31-yard line. And Nelson Campbell is going to settle things down here a bit. He's going to call timeout. And the Longhorns have been unable to get the ball to Chance Kite with any kind of consistency. In fact, I don't know if Kite has even carried the ball at this point, but he certainly comes into this ball game with some excellent statistics and the number 2 man behind Campbell. But in any case, the Longhorns have to negotiate 25 yards for the first. They've got it 3rd and 25 from their 31-yard line. Campbell is going to heave it deep. Now nearly falls down. Under pressure. Will throw the ball. Has a receiver. It's caught. Enough for the first down. Down at the Groom 22-yard line. That's Bo Johnson, who ran a perfect route, was tight roping the sideline. And Campbell finally saw him and struck him with a bullet. And that one will pick up about 28 yards in the 6th move for the Longhorns.
Well, you wonder how he got open because there was nobody near him, but he was wide open on that right sideline. It was a great pass by Lyle Campbell, and that picked up an important first down here.
1st and 15 now for the Longhorns. That's the biggest play of the ball game thus far for Gordon. Back to Kite, to Campbell. Campbell running, throwing, has a receiver, caught, touchdown! Wells in the corner of the end zone. Campbell saw him, and he threw a strike in the back of the end zone, and the Longhorns have gotten on track with 6 minutes, 25 seconds to go in this second period. Lyle Campbell to Dustin Wells.
That was an incredible throw. He just reared back and threw that about as hard as anybody can throw it from 22 yards out.
Campbell on to kick the extra points. This time it's good. So with 6 minutes, 25 seconds to go here in the second period, the Longhorns have struck, and they struck quickly. And here's the kickoff to the Tigers, and they're going to be bottled up at the 29-yard line. So it's good to have Wells back in the ballgame for Gordon.
Well, it was a nice play. Again, a great athletic play by Nelson Campbell. He was scrambling on the run, running to his right. And a rope is it. It looked like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball coming out of a pitcher because it went straight, no arc. It hit Dustin Wells right in the chest in the end zone. It was a nice play, and that was a tremendous conversion to go from 3rd down at 25. In 2 plays, you're back up 14-6.
That shows the ability of this Longhorn offense, and now they get to show what they can do defensively. 1st and 15 for Groom at their 30-yard line. Handoff up the middle. It's Ritter again. He has yardage and will finally be tackled after a pickup of about 5 yards. Looked like he was going to go for quite a bit more than that, but was bottled up nicely by this Longhorn defensive unit.
Yeah, not good. Still tackled by Lyle Campbell. He's playing deep in the safety position, about 8 to 10 yards off. And he's using good vision, and he's coming up and making a tremendous amount of tackles today in the open field.
A huge crowd here at the Mustang Bowl for the 6-man state championship. Both teams coming to this ball game at 13-1. Unbalanced formation for the Tigers to the near side. That's the side they run to. And again, Ritter has about 5 yards as he gets up to the 39. And that will bring up 3rd and a long 5 for the Tigers.
Power running, little scenes from Groom. They're not doing anything fancy. I formation. They're just lining up and running in between the tackles, if you will, or the ends, if you want to call them here in 6-man. And they're running straight up north and south, no side to side. And Gordon's been able to contain it somewhat so far, but they're facing an important 3rd down and long 5, short 6 here.
Wind beginning to die down a bit here in Sweetwater, and not the advantage it was for the Tigers earlier. And Ritter is going to be taken behind the line of scrimmage as he reverses course, tried it to the far side, didn't see anything there, came back to the near side. But Bo Johnson wasn't going to have any of it. He throws him for a loss of about 2 yards.
Lynn, that play was actually made by Chance Kite, who got excellent penetration and forced that play back to the other side of the field where Bo Johnson came up and used the sideline well as an extra defender and threw him for a 2-yard loss.
Fourth down and about 8 for the Tigers. It would appear they're going to punt the ball away, and I bet they do this time after the failed attempted fake punt earlier. In fact, they do, and with the wind at their back, that ball goes out of the end zone, so the Longhorns will get it 1st and 15 at their own 20-yard line. 4 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the second period. This game is going by remarkably quick at this point. 14-6 our score. And my goodness, we're moving quickly as Lyle Campbell to Dustin Wells just moments ago put the Longhorns ahead. It was a Lyle Campbell 3-yard run for the first touchdown in the ball game, and then Grant Weinheimer a 6-yard pass to Evan Kroll that put the Tigers on the board. From the 20-yard line, here come the Longhorns. Bo Johnson inside at quarterback. Lyle Campbell finds the receiver wide open, and Cody Scott drops the ball at the Gordon 38-yard line. He was so wide open, I don't think he could believe it, and just saw the ball go right through his hands. It'll bring up 2nd and 15.
Unfortunately, we've seen that a little bit this year from Gordon, especially from their ends. They've had a tendency to drop the ball, especially in situations where they're wide open. But you're right, he had plenty of room to run. He had one guy to beat. He was already a step behind him. That could have been 6 points, and yet he dropped it. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 15.
Ball is marked just inside the Gordon 20. Call it the 19-yard line. Johnson comes in tight at quarterback. Campbell in the backfield. Campbell gets it. Looking downfield, will throw the ball. Finds Johnson on the right flat. He has yardage. Turns the corner. Gets inside Tiger territory at the 39-yard line. And the Longhorns beginning to demonstrate their multiplicity of offensive weapons here, and it's working nicely. As Coach Nelson Campbell saw early in this ball game, the Tigers were focusing all of their defensive strength on Campbell, and Campbell says, if you're going to do that, well, I'll just strike with 3 or 4 more other guys.
I'm still amazed at how this game is going so far, tearing up the middle of this field. It's really been a ball control offense for both teams, and Gordon is trying to break something open loose right now.
But the Longhorns will go for it. They go into the deep spread formation. Campbell is some 10 yards behind center, and now he punts the ball away. Will kick the ball away. It bounces at the Groom 20-yard line, goes sideways, and will go out of bounds at about the 17. Tony, that's the right decision right there. You don't want to give Groom any opportunity.
The one thing I'm amazed tonight about is how big this crowd is. We talked last week, Richmond Springs had a hard time getting a lot of folks to the game, which surprised me in a semifinal game. Both Groom and Gordon have done a great job of getting the fans out and both making a lot of noise.
1st and 15 for the Tigers. Weinheimer and company will have to come up with something here. Handoff Ritter left side. He'll be stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
Now lost a yard on that play. The Gordon defense is toughing up. They've closed down their gaps, the space between their defensive linemen, and now they're taking away that inside running threat and forcing Weinheimer to go back and throw, which is not his strength, even though he's had about 1,500 yards passing. That's just a little over 100 yards a game, which isn't not a lot here for 6-man, but they're definitely being forced into something that they don't like to do, and that's throw the ball.
They've only got 54 seconds to negotiate here in the first half. Weinheimer back to throw again, has the wind at his back, has the receiver, it's wide open at the 30, at the Gordon 20, at the 10, at the 5, falling into the end zone, touchdown! This one goes 6 for the Groom Tigers. The pass completed to Dustin Babcock. Babcock had 15 yards on everybody. Chance Kite almost ran him down, but Babcock stumbled into the end zone, and with 40 seconds to go, the Tigers have gotten themselves back in the ball game.
Hey, forget what I said earlier about Weinheimer not being able to throw the ball. That was a rope. He is really improving here in the second quarter with his throwing ability. First and 15 for the Longhorns from their 35-yard line. Bo Johnson to Lyle Campbell. Campbell now back across to Johnson. He's at the 40, at the 30. Two men to beat. Splits him. A flag goes down. He goes down at the Groom 13-yard line. 28 seconds here at the Mustang Bowl in Sweetwater. Gordon flagged for holding. That play will come back, and they'll mark it at the Groom 34-yard line. 26 seconds to go. The Longhorns now have first and 5. Snap back to Campbell. Campbell looking. Will throw across the middle. It's caught and dropped. Caught and dropped for the Longhorns. That was Danny Greeny who had the opportunity to catch it at about the 12-yard line of the Tigers. The clock stops with 17 seconds to go in this first half. One thing that Gordon's doing right now is confusing the Groom defense is they're running up an unusual formation. 2 plays ago, Lyle Campbell was in the slot back, and all of a sudden he goes way out wide at the last minute. Groom didn't have anybody out there wide. That's one of the reasons he was wide open for that pass. It was dropped, but still great formations right now for Gordon.
Second and 5 now after the drop pass. Longhorns at the Groom 33-yard line. They got 17 seconds to Kite. Back to Campbell. Now back across to Kite. Kite hit hard and dropped at the 29-yard line. He'll have the first down, but time is stopped with 8 seconds to go, and the Longhorns will have 8 seconds to make something happen. They call a timeout here. We'll take a quick break as well. We'll be back for state championship football in 60 seconds. Welcome back to the Mustang Bowl. 8 seconds to go in this first half. The Gordon Longhorns will have first and 15 from the Groom 29-yard line. That's irrelevant. They'll have one play to make something happen here. They've got an 8-point lead, 22-14.
One thing about six-man football, because of the number of people, the field is a lot more wide open. So even if you can complete a 10 to 15-yard pass, if you get them in space, they have a chance to score.
The Longhorns going to the deep spread formation. Campbell is the deep back. Kite's the short back. They'll snap the ball to Kite. He'll dump it back to Campbell. Campbell will then have the option to run or throw. To Kite, to Campbell. Campbell looking downfield. He's it deep, trying to find the receiver. It's caught and dropped. Oh, no! Caught and dropped in the end zone. Campbell is trying to find Kelly Crane, and 1 second remains. So the Longhorns will have one more shot. What a beautiful pass from Lyle Campbell. Crane broke open at about the 3, dove for the ball. It was a perfect strike. Would have been a difficult catch, but he could have come up with it and just dropped it at the last moment.
Man, it dropped over his shoulders. He had it, but his knee came up and actually knocked it out of his hand. I don't know how the Groom defenders let him get behind him, but he got a step behind him, and it was a perfect strike from Lyle Campbell, and only just a drop prevented him from scoring their 4th touchdown and a half.
Second down now, 1 second remaining, the final play of the first half. To Kite, to Campbell. Campbell scrambling, in trouble. Will run with the ball. Will have to run with it now. He's at the 20, back across the field to the 15, and tackled. Goes down at the 11-yard line, and that's the end of the first half. Lyle Campbell showing tremendous athletic ability. And we're back here at the Mustang Bowl in Sweetwater, 22-14. Our score, the Longhorns over the Tigers, and everything we expected the six-man state championship to be. Both of these teams come into this ball game at 13-1. Gordon with a huge win 2 weeks ago over formerly number one ranked Panther Creek. The upset there. Groom on their side of the field have come into this ball game by way of upsetting a number of teams that were ranked ahead of them, and it all ends here in the Mustang Bowl, 22-14 our score, and what's been an exciting ball game. One of the things that the Longhorns have been unable to do, at least here in the first half of this ball game, is get Chance Kite into the action. Kite with a couple of big touchdowns last week and kind of shifted the focus from Campbell in the second half when the Richland Springs Coyotes trying to get back in the ball game. Chance Kite took over with a 46-yard run, a 55-yard run. He was on the receiving end of a touchdown pass from Lyle Campbell. And you would expect that Kite would do more of that in the second half. We'll wait to see if that happens, but Kite certainly has the speed. And here we are returning to action for the second half of the six-man state championship, the Gordon Longhorns and the Groom Tigers. Gordon has taken the opening kickoff, 1st and 15, now from their own 34-yard line. And the ball is snapped back to Lyle Campbell, actually to Chance Kite. Kite can't come up with it and has to fall on it at the Gordon 24-yard line. So immediately the Longhorns start out here with a bit of a snafu, and now it's going to bring up second at about 25.
Low snap, and he never could get his hands on it. By the time he got up, he was overwhelmed by the rush, so it's going to put it back and take it down to 24.
Ball back to Kite and now to Campbell. Campbell running around trying to find somewhere to go. He'll run with it. He's got yardage. He's up at the 40 and finally ushered out of bounds and got into Groom territory at the 38-yard line, so a big pickup there.
Again, athleticism of Lyle Campbell allows him to escape the defender and then use his speed to get to the outside and just take it upfield for about a 15-yard gain, and it's going to make it much more manageable here on third down, make it about third down and 7 or 8 yards to go.
That's going to be one advantage right now for Lyle Campbell. He really didn't get as much running in the first half of this game as he did in the first half last game. He's not going to be as tired here in the second half. He looks fresh to be and ready to make something happen.
Third and about 7 for the Longhorns. Ball is at the Groom 38-yard line to Campbell. From Kite. Campbell untouched. He'll run with it now. He has the first down. The 30 breaks one tackle, gets down to the Groom 24-yard line. Campbell showing a bit of patience there as he knew he wouldn't have much yardage. Got the first down, though, as he saw all of his receivers downfield were covered.
Nice downfield block from his receiver, who was open for a minute but been covered. He took off running. He got a good block that sprung him to the first down.
1st and 15 for the Longhorns. Ball is marked inside the Groom 25 at the 24-yard line. Just getting underway here in the third quarter. 22-14, Gordon over Groom. To Kite, to Campbell. Campbell will run with it. Now he'll throw with it. Now he'll run with it. One man to beat. He beats him, still on his feet, and finally goes down at the 12-yard line.
That was an unbelievable run by Lyle Campbell. If anybody saw the run by Peter Warwick in the first game of the college football season for Florida State, he bobbled the ball and put his hand down. That's what happened with Lyle Campbell. He almost fell down, but he stuck his left hand down to keep himself propped up and got at least 5, 6, 7 more yards. Lyle Campbell's a heck of a runner.
Now, there's our first reference to Florida State. Now we'll await the first reference to the University of Texas. 2nd and 3 here for the Longhorns. Ball at the 12-yard line of Groom. Spread formation for Gordon. To Kite. To Campbell. Campbell wants to throw the ball. Now in trouble. Dumps it off to Kite. He catches it in full stride at the 5-yard line and then is hit hard there.
Again, it's that little dump and run. They like to throw to Chance Kite. He did a good job of releasing, got the ball, made the necessary yards first down. That's going to give him a first down and goal at the 5-yard line.
Well, the Longhorns again trying to capitalize on a quick start here in the third quarter. We've seen them do that several times this season. They didn't do it last week against Richland Springs. But we'll see if they score first here in the third quarter. First and goal to go from the 5-yard line. Deep spread formation, the Kite to Campbell. Campbell wants to throw the ball at the 10-yard line. Now will run with it. Is hit hard at the 4 and goes down to the 3-yard line. I seem to be repeating myself. Every time Campbell carries the ball and is tackled, he is hit hard.
But he's doing a lot of the hitting. He's a very attacking running, but he doesn't wait back and wait for the defender to hit him. He'll attack the defender, but he is taking a lot of licks tonight. Of course, Groom is concentrating all their efforts on him, and they're going to try not to let him beat him with his legs. They're going to probably force him to beat him with his arm.
7 minutes, 5 seconds in the third period. Spread formation, second and goal to go from the 4. To Kite, to Campbell. Campbell on the far right side of the field, hurdles into the end zone, is upended, and he's going to be down at the 1. Lyle Campbell was hit as he hurdled into the end zone. He did a 360-degree somersault, came down on his back, and they're going to mark him out at the 1-foot line.
That's exactly right, Len. He jumped up in the air, trying to do what he did earlier, getting over somebody. Somebody caught him on the knee and did a flip in the air, legs and arms flying all over the place, and he fell down, and that is a highlight reel play right there.
We're going to have a timeout on the field right now with 6.5 minutes. Tight formation for the Longhorns. Bo Johnson, the quarterback. Handoff right side. Lyle Campbell breaking tackles just in. Campbell goes in from 1 yard out after the handoff from Bo Johnson. And the Longhorns extend their lead with 6 minutes, 25 seconds in this third period, are now again back in the driver's seat in the 6-man state championship. And Campbell will come on to attempt the points after with the kick. They'll spot the ball at the 11-yard line for the extra point. There's the snap. The kick looks good. And we'll await the indication. It is good. 6 minutes, 25 seconds to go. A new score here from the Mustang Bowl. It's Gordon 30 and Groom 14. Lyle Campbell does it again for the Gordon Longhorns, engineering a drive down the field here to start the third quarter. And it will be a tough answer for the Groom Tigers, who have scored twice in this ball game, once right before the end of the first half on a 63-yard touchdown pass from Grant Weinheimer to Dustin Babcock. They'll have to pull out some magic here as they now find themselves down by 16 to the Longhorns. Gordon kicks the ball away, and it's returned by the Tigers up to the 26-yard line. That's where they will have it, 1st and 15. And, Tony, I would think this is a crucial drive here for the Tigers.
It has to be. They have, with their type of offense, they can't rely on big plays. They've got to take the ball, drive down the field, and score a touchdown to get the conversion, to get back in this game. If at this point, any more scores for Gordon, and it'll make it very tough for them to get back in this game.
Weinheimer will have his team at the line of scrimmage from the 27-yard line. 1st and 15. Weinheimer has gone the distance for the Tigers out of a tie-dye formation. Hands off to Ritter, who tries to turn the corner and does, but fortunately can't beat Chance Kite around the corner. Kite gets him out of bounds, but not before Ritter picks up about 12 yards.
That was speed on speed that time, and Chance Kite just used the sideline to his advantage and was able to push him out from getting the first down.
Wade Ritter actually goes out of bounds at the 35, so what was a pickup of 12 yards is reduced to about 8. 2nd and 7. They'll need to get to the Gordon 38 for the first down. Groom at their own 35. Pitch back to Ritter. He's bottled up, but breaks out of it. Now goes up the field, has more than enough for a first down. And Lyle Campbell saves the touchdown at the 31. Ritter showing some nice explosion there through the middle of the field. And actually on the carry that time, that was Garrett Britton who went up the middle of the field. 30
running back
instead
on that
of 20.
play did a great job of lateral movement, Lynn. back and forth. When there's no room north and south, he goes east and west. And you've got to do that with, an influx of Gordon Longhorns breathing down your neck. He did a good job and got some nice yardage.
From the Gordon 32-yard line, it's 1st and 15. Handoff right side. This time it's Ritter. And this time, Cody Scott grabs his jersey 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Ritter, in frustration, gets up off the turf and chunks the ball with the referee. He was disgusted on that one, as indeed Scott just grabbed his jersey, and it was just enough to keep him from going anywhere. He'll lose 3 yards, 2nd and 18.
Again, a good penetration by the Gordon Longhorn defensive line in. That's what they've got to do to slow down this power running attack of Groom.
Ball is now at the Gordon 33-yard line. Weinheimer fakes the draw. Play action rolling out to the far side, looking downfield. Is hit as he throws it and can't do anything with it. Falls harmlessly short. He was trying to hit Josiah Scott. Scott would not have had the first down. Chance Kite with good coverage on Scott in the far flat, but just was hit or stumbled as he tried to throw the football and just fell at about 5 yards in front of Scott's feet.
Good play by the Gordon defensive backfield that time. They stuck with the receivers, and there was really no options for Weinheimer to throw to. He tried to throw that short pass, but even he was well covered by Chance Kite, like you said.
3rd down here, 3rd and 17 for the Tigers. Still at the Gordon 33-yard line. It's a screen pass. It'll have some yardage, and finally going down at the Gordon 24-yard line is Clay Ritter. We suspect he is the brother of Wade Ritter, and I think that he is. He will not have enough for the first down, but it will be 4th down fairly deep in Gordon territory at the 24. And you would think here that the Tigers would go for it on 4th down.
We talked about this last week, but Gordon's doing a great job of gang tackling right now. One man is not enough. They bring in 3 or 4 guys each time they bring it in. It's really hard for Groom to get down the field when they got 3 or 4 Gordon Longhorns slapping them upside the head.
Lyle Campbell goes to center field on 4th down. Here's a pass out in the flats. It's completed to Ritter. Ritter trying to fish his way for the first down. He'll be close. As he gets down to the Gordon 17-yard line, he needed to get to the 17, and this will be very, very close as they mark the ball. What a great job there from the quarterback, Grant Weinheimer, who was just wasted away on that hit after he got the ball off. He was under heavy pressure as they tried to set up the screen. He got the ball away. It went to Ritter. Ritter knew he was short of the first down and then tried to snake his way back to the middle of the field to come up with the first, and now they're stretching the chain. There's the stretch, and it's very, very close as they put it down, and it's just inches short.
That was a left or right foot spot right there. It was so close you couldn't tell, and it was just a matter of where they spotted the ball. And Gordon did a tremendous job of keeping their position, and they're going to get a chance to go back on offense and try to put some further distance between themselves and Groom.
You can really see the momentum changing right now. Gordon's got it. That's a big defensive play. Mark that down as one of the bigger plays of the game so far.
1st and 15 for the Longhorns. They'll take over on downs at their own 17. Bo Johnson comes in tight at quarterback. Campbell's in the backfield. Pitches back to Campbell. He has a couple of blockers in front of him. And now he's got the sidelines. There's a flag. Campbell still on his feet. There's a flag back in the Gordon backfield. Campbell will go all the way in, but I think it's coming back.
That play is coming back, Lynn. There was a clip right in front of me here, and if that's what they call, I'm not sure they're going to call that particular one, but no, they're going to call it a hold. But there's an injured player on the field right in front of us here at about the 24-yard line from Groom.
First and 20 for the Longhorns after the penalty. Here's a toss out to Chance Kite. Kite has some nice yardage. And we'll get back to the original line of scrimmage in a bit more as he moves it to the Longhorn 23-yard line. Lyle Campbell with a long touchdown run, but it's brought back after a holding penalty, and now it'll be 2nd and about 9.
The trainer from Sweetwater High School here, and apparently Kroll, the injured player for the Groom Tigers, just had somebody step on his foot. So apparently not a really bad injury for Groom.
Well, we'll hope that he'll be able to get back in the ball game for the Tigers. Meanwhile, time is clicking off here in the third quarter. 2 minutes, 48 seconds to go. As Gordon finds themselves with the 2nd and 9. To Kite, to Campbell. From the spread formation, Campbell is hit hard and is going down. And I find myself saying that again. Lyle Campbell is just not taken down gently. And maybe, Brent, as you say, it's not that he's hit hard every time, but he is the aggressor, even when he knows he's going to go down.
You can hear Lyle Campbell talking to a couple of his guys out there, encouraging him. I'm using a real soft word there, encouraging him to block. Apparently a miscue from the blocking on that end. Campbell was hit from the blind side, didn't even see it coming.
3rd down here, 3rd and about 11. This would be a big momentum change for the Tigers if they could hold Gordon. Lyle Campbell scrambling will now run with it. He'll have the 1st down and more at the 30. And finally goes down at the 39-yard line as Lyle Campbell took that one about 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Had all of his receivers on a deep route, and the far right side of the field was just wide open. They cleared it out, and Campbell elected to run with it and get the 1st down, and he got more than enough for the 1st as they spot the ball at the Gordon 39-yard line.
When Dusty Crump had a chance to tackle him for another loss and just couldn't wrap up, and that's the kind of play you've got to make if you want to try to stay in this game. But as it is, it allows him to pick up 19 yards in the 1st down.
From the Gordon 39, 1st and 15 with a minute and a half to go in the 3rd quarter. Campbell from Kite passes it. It's complete on the far right side. And a pickup of about 10 yards. Let's see who's on the receiving end of that one for the Gordon Longhorns. It's Kelly Crane. Crane catches it. Crane had a touchdown pass earlier in the 1st half. It would have been a tough catch, but would have been a touchdown, and he couldn't come up with it. He has some sure hands on that one. He picks up 10. 2nd and 5. Ball is marked at the Groom 31-yard line. Longhorns send 3 receivers wide left. To Kite, to Campbell. Campbell dumps it to Kite. Kite has yardage, has speed, breaks 1 tackle, and is finally taken out of bounds at about the 14-yard line.
Lynn Kite did a great job in readjusting. When he saw the ball in the air, he was looking over his right shoulder, but he had to turn because it was coming over his left shoulder. He jumps in midair, grabs the ball, comes down with the catch. Nice play by Kite.
48 seconds to go in the 3rd period. They'll move the chains again, and the Longhorns will find themselves with 1st and goal to go with the nose of the ball just inside the 15-yard line. So the Longhorns will have to negotiate 14.5 yards to find the end zone. To Kite, to Campbell, the spread formation. Campbell looking downfield will run with it now at the 10, at the 5, into the corner, touchdown! Solid 15 yards for Lyle Campbell as he made the right decision, looked downfield. His receivers were covered in the end zone and just started for the far right end zone pylon. And Tony, he just inched over before he was knocked out of bounds, but he had enough of the ball into the end zone that he broke the plane. And the Longhorns put 6 more points on the board, and they'll try to put 2 more here with the extra point kick. It looks like it's good. It is good. 40 seconds to go, and the Longhorns extend their lead over the Groom Tigers.
And you really know that things are starting to go Gordon's way when the 2-point conversion kicks sail through perfectly. They really are Gordon's way, though, offensively right now. We talked about spreading it out coming into this half. They're doing exactly that. The momentum is definitely in Gordon's corner, and I think it's a matter of time.
Well, Lyle Campbell's taking this game over with his arm and with his legs, and he's proven to be the one man on the field that Groom just cannot account for. You take him away, and both teams are probably dead even, but as you can see, he's worth at least the 24-point lead they have right now.
40 seconds to go in the 3rd period, and the Groom Tigers are on the far sideline trying to find a way, perhaps, to regroup as they see this game slipping away. They're down by 22, 38-14. Gordon, on the other hand, is beginning to sense themselves in some very familiar territory.
And it is familiar territory for the Gordon Longhorns just 3 years ago. The last time that Groom was in this game, we talked about it in the pre-game. The last time that Groom was in the state championship game was in 1975, back when they were in 11-man Class B. So really, the tradition isn't quite there for Groom. It is for Gordon, at least a recent tradition, and they are ready to get sized for some state championship rings.
But they have the offensive potency to get back in this ball game. But they won't do it on that play as Ritter is bottled up on the right side and, in fact, driven back 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. They'll give him forward momentum and a yard, and it will be 2nd and 14. As 14 seconds remain on the clock in the third period. That may very well be the last play of this third quarter. As the Tigers are back in the huddle at the 20-yard line, they'll have to hurry to get this one off, and I don't think they'll do it. There ends the third quarter here at the Mustang Bowl in Sweetwater, and the Gordon Longhorns find themselves only 10 minutes away from their second state championship. 38-14 our score. We'll be back in 60 seconds. The last 10 minutes of play here from the Mustang Bowl will decide the 1999 six-man state champions. And right now, if you're a Gordon Longhorn fan, things are looking mighty good. Longhorns have the ball. They'll have 2nd and 1. I'm sorry, not the Longhorns, but the Groom Tigers have the ball. Thank you very much. They have it 2nd and 14. They have it 2nd and 14 from their own 34-yard line. Weinheimer has gone the distance as quarterback for the Tigers. Rolls out to his right, is pressured, and then gets away a pass. It's completed at the Gordon 38-yard line. He completes that one to Dwayne Gray, but Gray very quickly goes out of bounds.
Lynn, I was just talking to Randy Savage Jr. here on the sideline. It would be a huge comeback for the Groom Tigers. Actually, the biggest comeback in six-man history in a championship game. But you know what the last one was back in '96? The Gordon Longhorns are down by 20 at the half. They are down by 18 in the fourth quarter. Both records as far as comebacks in six-man state championship action.
What a heart-stopping victory that was for the Longhorns, and it wouldn't appear to be that way in this ball game as Weinheimer will go deep. Has a receiver, it's caught at the Gordon 10-yard line, and it's a touchdown. Touchdown for the Groom Tigers as Clay Ritter gets into the near corner of the end zone. A perfect strike from Grant Weinheimer as somehow Ritter found himself wide open at the Gordon 12-yard line.
Lyle Campbell came across in the corner trying to make a diving tackle, couldn't quite do it, and it was all pay dirt from there for the Groom Tigers.
He has hooked it to the left. And I'm going to give up on predicting extra points from our vantage spot here in the press box. It is very difficult to tell on these extra point kicks. That one looked great, and he had hooked it left, but now we've got a flag, and the Tigers may get another shot at it.
Looks like it's going to be offside on the Gordon on that extra point, and you're right, from here it looked good, but evidently he must have just hooked it just left. Oh, they got a running into the kicker on Gordon, so again, they're going to get a second crack at this, try to cut this lead down to 16 versus 18.
38-20 our score after the touchdown pass. And now the Tigers will bring on a new kicker, a left-footed soccer style. Kicker to attempt the extra point. And it looks like he has missed this one. No, this one's good. So I'll give up on that one. That was the weakest extra point I have ever seen, but it didn't matter as it went through the uprights. So with 9 minutes, 46 seconds to go in this one, Groom's trying to make it a ball game. 38-22, back in a minute. First and 15, they'll mark the ball at the 35-yard line, and in six-man, as Tony says, it's an 80-yard field so they will have to go 45 yards. Bo Johnson in at quarterback, in tight, pitches back to Lyle Campbell. Campbell will run with it. He has yardage, outruns one man inside the Groom 20, finally goes down at the 17-yard line. And that one was run all the way for Lyle Campbell. He accelerated like he was shot out of a cannon at about the 35-yard line of Groom, and then just motored down the field, and it's another first down for the Longhorns.
I'm going to start calling this guy Houdini. Every time I think he's in a tight position, he squeezes right between a couple of linemen coming after him and gets right through. And then he almost drops the ball, picks it back up, and keeps on going. Fantastic athlete.
First and 15. Handoff, Chance Kite. He has yardage on the right side. Runs over one tackler. Falls into the end zone. Touchdown.
Wow! Chance Kite lowered his head about the 5-yard line, and you should have heard the collision at the 5. He kept on going. The guy that hit him was about 6 inches taller. He didn't care. He got into 6.
Well, at this point in the game, with that drilling and throwing, I bet he gained about 20 pounds on that contact because he literally barreled over a guy that has to be about 25 pounds heavier than him. He was not going to be denied on that touchdown run.
What a run from Chance Kite as the Longhorns will try to tack on 2 more here at the Mustang Bowl. Campbell gets the kick up, will await the indication, and it's good with 9 minutes, 16 seconds to go. So the Groom Tigers tried to get back in the ball game, but the Gordon Longhorns just very quickly answer the call. And it's Chance Kite on a touchdown run after an incredible run from Lyle Campbell. 9:16 to go. Our new score in the 6-man state championship is Gordon 46, Groom 22. We'll return in a moment. Tony, they have to score on this drive. There's no doubt about that.
No, there's no doubt. And they're going to have to score on every drive from here on out just to try to win this game. And their defense is going to have to help them out. But right now, their offense needs to go to the length and get it in the end zone, get it in quick.
Perhaps not the dominance by the Gordon Longhorns that we've seen in their previous games, but they are playing well here tonight as they're up by 24 here in the 4th quarter of the state championship. The handoff goes to Ritter on the right side. He has some yardage, and he'll pick up about 10. In the meantime, we have a player down back in the Groom backfield, and it's one of the Longhorns that may be Justin Wells again, who suffered an injury a couple of weeks ago and was unable to play last week.
That's number 21.
That's going to be Andy Jackson for the Longhorns. So Coach Nelson Campbell getting a couple of other players in here late in the ball game. Jackson, the 165-pound junior, is down back at the Groom 26-yard line. Weinheimer pitches back to Ritter. Ritter tries to pick a hole, but he's hit hard by Bo Johnson. And finally the whistle blows after Johnson drives Ritter back into the backfield. Let's see if they give him momentum to the line of scrimmage. He'll lose half a yard. It will bring up 3rd down at about 8. And the ball is marked at the Groom 38.
That was a great play by Bo Johnson. He read that play immediately, slipped in under the guy trying to cut through a little crack back on him, and made his tag, stood him up, and pushed him back for a loss.
3rd and 8. Weinheimer has a split backfield behind him, tight formation. Wants to set up a screen. Now will go deep. Has the receiver open. It's caught and dropped as Lyle Campbell puts the big whammy on Cody Scott. Scott had the ball bouncing around on his shoulder pads. He was looking on one side of his shoulder, turned around, looked on the other side. There was the ball. He was juggling it, trying to come up with it, and Lyle Campbell wasn't going to give him the chance to do that.
It was a great recovery by him from his free safety. Again, another end for Groom, slipping unknown down the field, down the sideline. And again, it was very close to being another touchdown. Gordon's going to have to tighten up a little bit in that secondary, but again, a nice play allows him to break that up and force the fourth down.
This could be the ball game here. Fourth down, the Tigers have to go for it. They have to make it if they want to stay in the ball game. It's a screen. They should have the first down. The pass is dumped out to the big running back who's ushered out of bounds at the 33-yard line, and he will have the first down. That's big number 35 for Groom, Chris Ollinger, the senior, who takes it out of bounds, but most importantly for the Tigers, gets the first down, and at this point keeps them in the ball game with 7 minutes, 45 seconds to go in this fourth quarter.
And Lynn, that's only the third first down for Groom here in the second half. They had, again, the one big pass play that led to the touchdown, but the Gordon defense has done a pretty good job here. So it's going to give them a new life here.
First and 15 from the Gordon 33. Quarterback hands off inside. Ritter breaking one tackle, fumbles the ball, and I think it goes out of bounds. Actually, on the carry that time for the Tigers was Dwayne Gray.
We talked a minute ago about the injury. Jackson, who went down a second ago, I just asked the trainer. Apparently, he was poked in the eye, and looks like he might even get back in the ballgame, so he's okay.
Well, good news there, and the Tigers will find themselves with second and about 11, perhaps even closer to 12, as they're inside the Gordon 30 at the 29-yard line. Time is not on their side now, as the clock is stopped with 7 minutes, 39 seconds. The Tigers are down by 24. Pitch back to Ritter. Ritter on the right side. It's a halfback pass. Man, wide open at the 5-yard line, and dancing into the end zone go the Groom Tigers. What a well set up play there. The pitch went back to Ritter, and he throws the halfback pass, which catches everybody off guard here.
That was a very well set up play. As a guy, usually as a lineman, it took such a long time in the backfield for that thing to set up, but they gave that lineman a chance to sneak back there. 6 points for Groom.
I believe that was number 80, Justin Babcock, on the reception, but again, nobody around him.
So with 7 minutes, 31 seconds to go, and who's scoring your six-man state championship from Sweetwater? It's now Gordon 46 and Groom 28. It's an onside kick attempt for the Groom Tigers that the Gordon Longhorns managed to recover. So they'll have 7 minutes, 25 seconds to go in this fourth period, and they'll have the ball, more importantly, at their own 28-yard line. The Longhorns now with an 18-point lead as Groom missed an important 2-point conversion just moments ago after the halfback pass. Wade Ritter to Clay Ritter, 27 yards in the touchdown. Bo Johnson inside at quarterback. Hands off. Chance Kite. Kite goes down, loses a yard for half as they mark him at about the 27-yard line.
And now, if you're Gordon, you're just wanting to protect the ball. You're going to run the ball a lot here. You're not really concerned. You'd like to pick up the first down, but you'd like to run that clock down for another couple of minutes.
No one's left here at the Mustang Bowl in Sweetwater, Texas, as the Longhorns are on the threshold of a second state championship. 6 minutes, 51 seconds to go. Lyle Campbell now inside at quarterback. He'll throw the ball. Looking for Cochran deep downfield. Cochran's covered. Now he dumps it off to Chance Kite. And actually, that's not Kite who carries the ball. It's one of the linemen, I believe, who got that, and I think he was as surprised as anyone. I think that's Danny Greeny who actually got the carry.
Well, it's too bad that he fell down there, because there was a lot of running room for Chance Kite out in front of him. Got a little tripped up there and fell down about 4 or 5 yards after he received the ball.
I think that was Danny Greeny who got the toss that time from Campbell, and as Brent says, he does fall down. 6 minutes, 13 seconds to go. It'll be third and about 10 for Gordon. They set up with 3 wide receivers to the far side. Campbell will try to strike one of them. He does. What a great pass that is. He finds Justin Wells. He has to go to a knee to catch it at the Groom 38-yard line. They're going to mark him down there. That's a yard short of the first down. And the Longhorns, you would expect, are in 4-down territory, needing only a yard at the Groom 38-yard line. And this could be the ball game if the Longhorns convert.
You would think so. You would think if they could pick up one more first down, they could run the clock under 5 minutes and make it almost impossible for Groom to come back from the 18-point deficit.
Longhorns are going to take a moment to think about it. We will too. 5 minutes, 34 seconds to go. 4th and 1 for the Gordon Longhorns from the 38-yard line. Lyle Campbell in trouble. Now will run with it. Has the first down. Breaks the tackle on his feet at the 25, at the 20, and goes out of bounds at the Groom 17-yard line. First down to the Longhorns with 5 minutes, 23 seconds in the 4th period.
Lyle Campbell is a playmaker. He was in the backfield. He saw nothing. He only had a yard to get. He saw the field open up on the left side. He went around. Great play by Lyle Campbell. Whatever he sees out there, it's almost like the rest of the field is in slow motion. He just picks and chooses wherever he wants to go, and he's just a fantastic athlete.
How about this for his last 4 rushes? 19, 15, 28, and 21 yards. They've all been for first downs. One of them was for a touchdown. And when the game gets close, he takes over.
From the 17-yard line, 1st and 15, Campbell strikes on the right side at the 10, at the 5, and knocked out of bounds at the 1-yard line is Kelly Crane. Crane catches it at about the 8-yard line and goes out of bounds at the 1. It will be 1st and goal to go for the Longhorns from the 1-yard line.
And again, that makes Lyle Campbell 6 for 6 here in the second half. 7 for 7 here in the second half. He's going to go well over 250 yards passing a day and well over 100 yards rushing.
You may hear the cowbells in the background as they begin to get a little bit more brisk here in the 4th quarter from these Gordon fans as they sense another state championship. 5-14. 1st and goal to go from the 1. Campbell looking in the end zone. Now will run with it at the 5. Has one man to beat, and he'll not beat him, and he'll lose a couple of yards. Back to the 3. Kelly Crane was open in the far corner of the end zone, but I don't think Campbell ever saw him. He was looking in the middle of the end zone and just couldn't find an open receiver.
Tried to do a little bit too much that time. He did have an open receiver right at the goal line, another receiver, and he just hesitated a little bit, then he got covered up and tried to make it on his own.
Dustin Wells comes out of the ball game, and now the Longhorns go into a spread formation. Kite will take the snap, will dump it back to Campbell. Campbell scrambling, in trouble, gets out of trouble at the 10, throws it, it's caught, touchdown!
I'm standing about 3 feet from where that happened. It was a scoop-up catch. A great pass by Lyle Campbell. That's the only way that pass would have been complete because it was low into the outside. There was a defender right on the inside. Great play by the Gordon Longhorns.
Kelly Crane on the receiving end of that pass from Lyle Campbell. Officially, it goes 3 yards, and the Longhorns extend their lead, 52-28. Here's the points after attempt. The kick is up, and it's good. This Gordon crowd is beginning to sense a victory here. 4.5 minutes to go. The state championship in Sweetwater. Our new score is the Longhorns 54 and Groom 28. Several teams have won 2 state championships in the 1990s. No team has won it 3 times, but the Longhorns are attempting to become one of the teams that have won the state championship 2 times in the 1990s. That would include, among other teams, Amherst, who did it in 94 and 95, Panther Creek, who did it in 92 and 93, and Fort Hancock, who did it in 90 and 91. The Longhorns, should they go on to win tonight, would be the winners of the 96 state championship, and arguably the most exciting ball game of all those, and again in 1999. But they still have to fend off the Groom Tigers here for another 4 minutes and 19 seconds.
And that's the thing about six-man football, Lynn, is, obviously right now the momentum is with Gordon, but you never know what can happen. I mean, 54-28, they can at least get closer for Groom. It looks like the thing's in the bag, but watch out for Groom. If they spread things out, get a couple of onside kicks, they'll at least make it interesting if they don't have a chance to win.
1st and 15 from the Groom 29-yard line. Weinheimer looking downfield, has the receiver. It's caught for a pickup of about 7 yards as Ritter goes down at his own 36-yard line. Groom will have to come up with more than that if they want to make this ball game interesting. They'll pick up about 7 yards. It will be 2nd and 8.
A lot to ask out of a team that's a ball control offense is try to get down the field in a hurry, and they're still in their tight formation, but they are sending everybody out in the pattern trying to get some pickups downfield.
Weinheimer takes the snap inside as he's been all night. Goes downfield again, has a receiver open. Tipped off. Lyle Campbell. He's down the sidelines at the 35 and goes out of bounds at his own 38-yard line. Again, we saw that earlier in the first half. Lyle Campbell waiting back at that safety position, if you will, in six-man. Waited till the last moment to make the commitment. Did finally after the quarterback, Weinheimer, had thrown the ball, and he comes up with the big interception. But now we've got another player down at the 38-yard line. That's Chance Kite, but Kite has bounced up, and he looks like he's okay.
Man, you had mentioned that interception looked just like the early interception that Lyle Campbell made, and that is exactly right. That looked like a tape rebroadcast of that earlier interception.
54-28 our score, and now the Longhorns find themselves in an enviable position. To Chance Kite, to Lyle Campbell. Campbell now dumps it off to Bo Johnson. It falls incomplete. And the only bad thing about that is it stops the clock with 3 minutes and 22 seconds to go. No one is left here at the Mustang Bowl, but by now everybody knows the final decision of tonight's ball game.
That was Lyle Campbell's first incompletion in the second half after 9 straight completions. He's been, again, doing it on the ground with his legs, doing it through the air with his arm. And, of course, on defense with 2 interceptions, you just can't say much more about this young man that's already been said. I've never seen an athlete dominate a game like this young man can. He can just take the game over at any point on defense or offense, and that's what he's done here tonight.
And we've seen that 3 consecutive weeks for the Gordon Longhorns against Panther Creek, against Richland Springs, and now here against the Groom Tigers. The Longhorns came into this ball game ranked number 2 behind the Groom Tigers. The Tigers actually had the number 1 spot, according to Six Man Weekly and Randy Savage Jr. Both teams at 13-1, but Groom got the nod for number 1 and were actually picked by 8 points in this ball game. 2nd and 15 for the Longhorns. Campbell is scrambling. Breaks the tackle, breaks another tackle, still on his feet, breaking tackles again, and will ramble for the first down, finally brought down at the Tiger 22-yard line.
Hey, Lynn, right before that last break we took, there was the first down for Gordon, and they had some problems lining up, and I could hear Nelson Campbell go, looks like a Chinese fire drill out there. So obviously, he is still coaching. He looks at the scoreboard and sees them way up. He is still trying to motivate his players, get the players in the right position, and he's treating it just like anything else right now until that gun sounds off and he can hold that trophy over his head.
Lyle Campbell, Chance Kite, and many of these players have been together ever since their junior high district championship in Gordon. And that teamwork and camaraderie is paying off here. 2:45 to go. Lyle Campbell is scrambling and is caught by the leg and will finally go down at the 25-yard line. The clock continues to run. 2.5 minutes to go in the ball game. It was a close game for much of tonight's contest, but the Longhorns finally pull away for good here in the fourth quarter. In fact, it was interesting through the first quarter. Our score at the end of one, guys, if you'll remember, was simply 6-0. But it changed very quickly in the second quarter. We went in at halftime with a score of 22-14. The Longhorns over the Tigers, and then the Longhorns have dominated here in the second half. Deep spread formation. 2nd and 19 for Gordon. To Kite, who's the short back. Now back to Campbell. Campbell will throw it to Kite. Kite is massacred as he caught the ball at the 22-yard line. And in fact, they're going to say that he didn't come up with the reception. And Kite is upset. You'd think they were playing a tie ball game the way he got up off that. And that just gives you an idea of the competitiveness of these guys out there on the field. Clock stops with 1 minute and 52 seconds to go.
I think you're going to see Gordon. I don't know if they're going to punt here. They're inside the 26-yard line of Groom. Obviously, Nelson, I don't think, wants to run the score up, but at the same time, he wants to run the rest of his clock out. And you may see Lyle Campbell run around here, try to run some clock off before he kicks it or before he tries to pick up the first down.
Longhorns are up by 26 points, 54-28. They've got 3rd down and 19. To Campbell. Campbell scrambling. Wants to throw the ball. Now we'll run with it. Now looking downfield. Throws it. Has a receiver. And it's picked off and then dropped. Picked off and dropped. That was Garrett Britton for the Groom Tigers. Tigers, who could have come up with what at this point would be a meaningless interception, but he dove for it. It bounced off his shoulder pads, and one of the Longhorns nearly came up with the deflection. After all that, though, the clock stops with 1:41 to go, and these Longhorn fans are just counting the seconds at this point.
Well, I know it sounds like I have basketball in my brain, but Lyle Campbell plays football more like a basketball player than anybody I've ever seen. He uses his entire body to fake people out. He's got the ball held way out. He uses his head, his hips, his legs, and he fakes people out all over the place. That's what he did on that play.
4th and 19 now for the Longhorns. Campbell gets the deep snap, has the option to punt the ball or run with it or throw with it, and he's running with it at this point right now. One man in pursuit, and Campbell's faking him out, trying to run off seconds on the clock, and he does. Finally goes out of bounds with 1:26 to go. The Tigers will get the ball one more time as Campbell jukes and jerks and jumps and shimmies and does all that for about 15 or 20 seconds, as you said, Tony, just taking time off the clock. And now there's 1:26 to go, and that is 86 seconds before the Gordon Longhorns become the champions of six-man football in the state of Texas.
Again, it was again, you're right. He was just trying to run time off the clock. I don't know if the Groom Tiger was ever going to catch him until he finally just got tired and went down. And it's going to give him a chance on this last possession.
1st and 15 for the Tigers. They've got it at their own 33. Weinheimer will throw. Looking downfield, is hit as he throws it. Goes up, and Campbell comes up and makes a brilliant defensive play that time. The pass intended for Clay Ritter, and Campbell just comes up at the last moment, knocks it down, and it will be 2nd and 15.
And it's academic at this point, but Gordon's still playing hard on defense, and Gordon fans feeling that anticipation, just 80 seconds away from their second state title. Again, these young men were all freshmen, most of them Chance Kite, Lyle Campbell, when the last team won the state title, and they waited their turn, and I know they're excited to get their chance to hold the trophy.
80 seconds away. 2nd and 15. Draw play up the middle. Lots of yardage there for Groom. Chris Ollinger with the carry. He'll have more than the first down as he gets into Gordon territory at the 24. 1:11. The clock stops as they move the chains. Talking with Randy Savage earlier in the week, if I recollect, I believe he told me the uniforms the Gordon Longhorns are wearing tonight are the same uniforms in which the Longhorns won a state championship in 1996. The black pants, the white jerseys, and the gold helmets. They elected to wear their white colors, although they were the home team tonight. And there we finally have it, the big, big Gordon Longhorn banner on the sideline. We saw it before the game, but we have a huge banner on the sideline, the yellow banner with black writing that says state champions. And listen to this crowd. They waited as long as they could in Gordon, Texas to break out the banner, but it's finally here. The state championship banner is Groom, and Weinheimer will go to the air trying to find a receiver. It's caught, and it's a touchdown. 42 seconds to go as Weinheimer connects with his receiver about a yard deep in the end zone. That's Justin Babcock, and Babcock will have his 3rd touchdown of the evening. And this quietens the crowd, but only for a moment, as our score becomes 54-34 with 42 seconds to play. Dusty Crump will try to tack on 2 more points here for the Tigers. Looks like he's missed it to the right, and finally I call one on an extra point. He does miss it wide right. So with 42 seconds to go, there's a new score. Gordon 54, Groom 34. We'll have the last 42 seconds of this one when we return in 60 seconds. There's an onside kick that the Longhorns handle nicely. Kelly Crane comes up with it. That expires 4 seconds from the scoreboard clock, and now the Longhorns will perhaps have 1, maybe 2 plays before they are officially crowned the state champions. Brent, I see you down on the sideline right now. What we may try to do immediately after the final play of this ball game, we'll let you see if you can talk with anyone out on the field.
Yes, we're going to try to talk to Nelson Campbell, possibly Lyle Campbell, Randy Savage, so stick around. And I was going to tell you, Lynn, this is normally a pretty stoic sideline for Gordon throughout the game. You're starting now to see some clapping of the back, some smiles, and some celebration here for the Gordon Longhorns.
First and 15, that's irrelevant at this point. The snap goes back to Kite and now to Campbell. Campbell's scrambling, acts as if he will throw the ball, now will run with it. Breaks one tackle, breaks another, gets into Groom territory at the 37, and you may hear this Gordon crowd begin to count the seconds down. 23, 22, 21, and I don't know if Groom has any timeouts remaining to stop this one. It doesn't appear that they do. 13, 12, 11, and we'll let the Gordon crowd take it from here.
Coach, how much does it mean for your son to be the biggest part of this championship game and to watch him win a state championship, your son?
Oh, well, it's been a nerve-wracking year. I'm glad it's over. I never dreamed that he'd live up to, he really surpassed my expectations. I never dreamed he'd be this good. But he's a winner.
He's the winner, so you're coach. Congratulations to you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Lyle Campbell, quarterback for the state championship, Gordon Longhorns. Describe how you're feeling right now.
It's undescribable. This is what you work for your whole life, and to finally get it, it's undescribable.
During the game, last week you had a touch of the flu or some sort of sickness. Second half, you got kind of tired. Tonight it didn't happen. You really poured it on the second half.
I was sick last week, but this week I wasn't going to let it stop me. This is what I've been working for my whole life, and to finally get it, it feels great. It feels really great.
Can you celebrate? Before you couldn't celebrate really because week to week you got another opponent to come up. Now you can really celebrate.
Celebrate now. It's over. We got the trophy.
What's in the future for Lyle Campbell? Do you know?
I don't know right now. I'm just going to celebrate right now.
Congratulations.
This game is exemplary of what Texas high school football is all about, and we're happy to crown you the 1999 six-man conference state champions. And we have a special treat if we can. Legislative Council member and Superintendent of Gordon Schools, Mr. Randy Savage, would like to make that presentation on our behalf. It is indeed our privilege. Coach, congratulations.